Today's video is very special because we're going to talk about sample coffee roasting, and for this we are going to partner with our friends from Swings Coffee who are going to tell us how they do their coffee sample roasting. So let me introduce you to my friend Neil, who is the director of coffee for Swings Coffee, who is going to tell us a little bit about that. So Neil, tell us, what is the job of a director of coffee in a company like Swings Coffee?
So the director of coffee, or my official title is director of coffee operations, is really anything that has to do with coffee for the company. I kind of have a hand in, whether that's purchasing, it's quality control, it's inventory, things like that. You're just looking at all aspects of, the central heart of what we do, and that, of course, is coffee. So it's all the operations around coffee. A big part of that is purchasing. When it comes to purchasing, a big part of what we do before we purchase coffee is we sample roast. We have to try the coffee before we buy it. That's for a number of reasons, but that's also a big part of the job.
Can you tell us now why is it so important to do coffee sample roasting?
Sure. For a company like Swings, typically we're buying container loads at a time. Sometimes it's just a bag here and there. By bag I mean 152 pounds. But a lot of times we're buying full containers. Those containers have about 40,000 pounds of coffee in them at a time. So it's very important for us to sample the coffee before we purchase it so that we can determine if there are any issues with the coffee. Some could be very small, some could be very large, like mold or over fermentation, things like that. Because when we're buying 40,000 pounds, we want to be sure that there's not an issue with that coffee. Therefore, we get samples from farms, from importers, and we go through this process that we're about to walk you through.
And with all of that great information, let's do some sample roasting, shall we? Neil is going to walk us through the process and tell us everything that we need to be looking out for when we're doing sample roasting.
The first thing that we're going to have to do is, much like using your oven at home, we have to preheat our roaster. It's all steel, and we need the metal to be good and warm so that it's fully retaining the heat that helps in the conduction process of roasting the coffee. You don't want to start with a cold roaster, you don't want to start with a cold oven. Second, we're going to take our sample of coffee and weigh it out. For this particular roaster, which is a Probat, we are going to do 100 grams of coffee. That's roughly a quarter of a pound, but it gives us enough so that we can cup it multiple times and assess the quality of the coffee. Next thing we're going to do is load the coffee into the drum. We start at a certain temperature. Every time it's the same temperature, about 350 degrees, and then we control the heat from there in different increments. Less heat at certain points, more heat at other points. Throughout the roasting process, we need to check on the color of the coffee, and much later, what we'll get to is hearing the actual sound of the coffee. But during this process now, we're looking at a color change. So a sample roast should be between 8 and 12 minutes. These are protocols set by the Coffee Quality Institute, which is an international body that governs coffee quality professional tasters. So there are a few metrics that we're looking at. We want it to be, you don't want a roast to be 15 minutes or 5 minutes. So we're looking to hit a sweet spot via several different metrics. After the coffee has changed color, we're getting towards the end of the roast. We are primarily looking for a pretty light roasted coffee with a sample roast. Now, that may not be what you end up with when you are doing production roast, and I mean, say, instead of 100 grams, 100 pounds. Some coffee you may prefer to be a little bit darker or a lot darker. But when we're really trying to taste the true nature of the coffee and not just how it's roasted, we're primarily looking at a very light roast of coffee. When we finally taste the coffee, it needs to be within 24 hours. After the coffee is roasted, it needs to go into an airtight container. Again, we need to cup it within 24 hours, but it does need to rest for at least 8 hours. We're so happy that we had Paisa Coffee come by today to film us doing what we love doing and what we do best. That's roasted coffee. And I encourage you to go online to swingscoffee.com and check out some of Yolima's coffees that we are selling. We have Finca La Vega right now and also El Camilo. So those are two stellar coffees. We have several other coffees from all over the world also on our website. So thanks for watching, I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you guys learned how to do some coffee sample roasting, and I invite you to visit the links down below where you will find all of the amazing coffees that Swings Coffee has to offer. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comment section below, and stay tuned for the next video because it is going to be about the coffee tasting of the amazing coffees that we're roasting today. Bye!
What are we doing?
Let's see how bad we do it. How many bloopers we have. I forgot what I was gonna say. Okay. Samples of the roasted.
Coffee sample roast?
Yeah.
Don't look at myself. Are we live? Whatever.
That's why I'm facing.
That's why you refuse to look at me.
Yeah. No person.
You can't taste coffee leaf rust. I should redo that. I'm really rooting for a blooper episode. Okay? I want this to happen. I'm gonna make it happen. Make it happen.
You gotta look at the lens.
I'm gonna make it happen.
Hi. I'm sorry, I didn't intro.
We are live to tape right now, okay? Live to tape. I'll just wait. Okay.
Well, I only have one battery, so. Is that how this is shouting? Why do I look so white? I'm not that white, am I? Wait. Like the actors.
Everything we should look out for.
Neil.
Action. I'm gonna see this circle for the rest of the day. Thank you so much. It was so nice. Coffees. God damn.
You don't have to say all of that again.
I'm gonna start over. Totally over.
Oh, from where?
From the beginning.
You forgot to say action.
I did this one time, and I was like spraying around and the flame was on, and this is highly combustible, and it was just like,
I testify, Swings is great.